Welcome, friends, to the Someone Gets Me podcast. I am your host, Dianne Allen, and I am so delighted that you're here. This podcast was created because I believe there is a visionary leader inside each one of us who is waiting to be seen. In each episode of Someone Gets Me, you will hear useful tips from successful visionaries who will share their stories about how being seen has allowed them to take their vision out into the world with action. Energetic alchemy. Welcome, friends. Today's episode of Someone Gets Me is about energetic alchemy. It's something that is dear to my heart, and I don't talk about it a lot out loud in public. I talk about it with clients a lot, and I came up the other day and I thought, it's time to do a show on this. So the whole premise here is that your presence makes a difference. When you walk into a room and there's people there, whether it's a party or a boardroom or a room with your family members, you manipulate the room. Now, a lot of people hear the word manipulate as a bad word. It is not a bad word. Manipulate means that things change. So when you walk into a room, the energy, the presence, the overall experience of that room shifts just from you walking in, from you showing up. Conversely, if you're usually someplace like a certain kind of meeting or event and you're not there, the people who are there notice that, your absence. They notice, where is that energy? Where is that feeling? So those are ways you can tell that you're an energetic alchemist. And I think in a lot of ways, a lot of us experience those kinds of shifts and our energy changing and all of these things happening. And we either don't pay attention or we notice it, but don't understand it really. So because our energy is always evolving or devolving, it's either rising in vibration or going lower in vibration, but it can never be killed. It just transmutes and changes. And I think that that's a beautiful way to look at our experience in the world. So if you have a day where you're feeling really heavy and very sad and your energy's, right? That's a lower vibration than when you're happy or joyful or laughing. And I'm sure you can relate as I'm speaking to these feelings, the days where you have nothing in there or you're flatlined, or you're laughing and goofing off and having a good time. And there's all of the experiences in the middle. And what I'm here to say is that none of them are wrong or bad. They're not wrong or bad. Some people I work with really have a hard time feeling joy and happiness and fun because they were taught life is so serious. Some people I work with are all about having so much fun that they have a hard time focusing on the things that matter. And so it's important that we find that kind of equilibrium, that flow, that way of living and being and breathing where we appreciate what we're bringing to the table and who we are and our energy and the energy of everyone else because we can feel it. Or we lose a lot of our experience. So think about it when you smile at somebody for just a minute. Would it be funny if I just had a straight face and that's all I was doing was talking like this? That would be totally boring for me and you, right? But when we're smiling and we're animated and we're allowing the energy of our being to keep flowing through us, then we're engaged a little bit more, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in person or whether it's even on a phone call. Think about the last phone call you had. Could you tell by that person's voice and the cadence of their speech a lot more about what was going on with them than simply the words? Because remember that only 20% of our communication, if it's that much even, are the words. All the rest of it is the feeling, the vibe, the energy, whatever word you want to use for that, right? Words just point to it anyway. The presence, our eye contact, if it's audio or visual, our voice tone and pace, if it's audio. All of these things set us up to be an amazing energy alchemist. Being grouchy brings about one kind of experience in the world. Being grateful and happy and uplifted brings about another experience. And it's important to realize neither one of them are wrong. The better question, I believe, is it serving me? Is one or the other serving me? If it's not serving you, or you say, I don't know, that's a no, then it's time to say, well, what could I be doing differently so that whatever I am experiencing is serving me? And then we begin to make the changes, if we need to, that take us in the direction of our highest good, whatever that is, because for every one of us, it's different. So I want you to think for a second about a situation or a time in your life where maybe you went to a party or you were in any kind of experience, a job interview, a work situation, anything like that, where there were people that you didn't know, and how you would meet somebody and you were instantly attracted to their energy. And I'm not talking about just sexual attraction, like, oh, they're hot. I'm talking about, I want to get to know that person. I want to talk to them. There's something about them that's attractive to me, and I want to know about that. And maybe that's happened to you, where you've been in a situation and somebody came to you and said, I don't know what it is, but I need to get to know you. That is like energy attracting like. It's like heat-seeking missiles. If I was to drop you in a room of 100,000 people you didn't know, and nobody knew anybody, there were strangers, put them all in the room. Big room, I guess, right? What we would find out in short order, probably around 30 or 45 minutes, everybody would be starting to segregate into things that were similar. We would find the people who like different things in different places, because it would be a natural attrition based on how we feel, because the different parts of our energy system attract that same energy. It's very easy to see, and it's really quite fun. So if I go to a party and I feel all terrible and wah, 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 and everything's bad and I don't want to be there, then that's all I'm going to find. If I go to an event and I'm excited to meet people, even though I'm introverted or whatever it is, then that's the kind of experience I'm going to have. So we could go to the same event. I could be all poopy and grouchy and not want to go. You could be all excited. We could leave that event and have totally different experiences of the exact same reality. So that's how come also, no matter what's going on in the world, everyone has their own experience of it. We experience everything in the world through our own sensory system and our own autobiography. So no two people are experiencing the world the same, even when we might want to think so. So our limited ego brain, our intellect, wants us to think that most people are experiencing the world the same way we do. But the truth is nobody is, which is a whole nother conversation about diversity going on there. So what's it mean to be an alchemist anyway? Because the title of the show is Energy Alchemy. So what does that even mean, right? What it means is that as an alchemist, when in Fantasia, where Mickey Mouse has his hat on, an alchemist from all in ancient times is the person that could take lead, a base metal, lead, and transform it, transmute it into gold. So an energy alchemist is somebody who could take a base emotion like fear, grief, shame, sadness, and transmute it into something more beautiful like hope, joy, love, kindness. So on some level, all of us are energy alchemists as we dance through the world. But being an energy alchemist on purpose means that we have the focus and intention to serve others, to serve the world in a way by uplifting the energy, by bringing forth higher energy, higher vibration. My mantra is I'm raising my vibration. I'm raising my vibration. I am raising my vibration. So if I'm having a stressful day, I'm raising my vibration. I focus on something higher, hope, love, joy, enlightenment, kindness, gratitude. rather than fear, sadness, doubt, worry, grief. Those are heavy. So we can kind of tell where the energy is in our system by how heavy we feel. So we have high fear level, then we feel heavier. And to be an intentional energy alchemist, we're saying, this is an interesting experience. Fear means to get prepared. So am I prepared for whatever's happening? And then I start to raise my energy by moving, by shifting my thinking, by doing all kinds of activities. Physical activity, motion, moving our body, and changing our thinking are two very effective, fast ways to up-level our energy. We can also downgrade it. And you think about the opposite of being an energy alchemist, because we always can change the energy, is when we were little kids, you probably did this. There was a day you didn't want to go to school and you said, I don't want to go to school, I'm sick. And you pretended to be sick. And the big people around you, most likely your parents or whoever's taking care of you, believed you, and you stayed home from school. And then all day long, you had to pretend being sick because that's what it was, even though you weren't sick to start with. Then come the end of the school day and all your friends are coming home and maybe siblings are coming home. And now that would be the time to start feeling good, but you really created sickness and now you really are sick when you weren't sick in the morning. And that's because when we focus on something intentionally and with focus, we actually draw the experience to us. And an energy alchemist is someone who is able to take the lower energy, the fear, the grief, the gooky stuff, I call it, and the static, and up-level it into something that's much more beautiful and awakened and alive and shiny, if you will. That's the kind of work I do. I help people do that. And because of my intuitive connection and my intense focus, I'm able to help transmute that energy by being in someone's presence, whether it's on Zoom or physically. Because if your energy is high and you're intentional with it, then it's very easy for other people's energy to be brought up with it, because we're energy beings. It's true about animals, dogs, cats, birds. It's true about everything. You know, I'm not talking from this woo-woo uneducated space, not at all. I'm very educated in this. And I think about how our cells respond to the way we think. Our entire being, our neurons, every part of us responds to the way we think, to what's happening, to what we're drawing to us. So an energy alchemist can take these lower experiences and transmute them, even in the face of adversity, into something more beautiful and maintain an elevated mood, an elevated world by holding the higher thoughts. I heard once that the whole world is not spinning out of control with fear and craziness because there are a lot of people, a lot of yogis up in the mountains in the Himalayas and all over the world holding such a high state of consciousness that it balances all the craziness in the world. Now, I don't know if that's true, but what I do understand is that that's a possibility. Think about when you're in a group of people, your family, your friends, your coworkers, any group, and one person is having a hard day and everyone else is having an okay or better day, right? Then pretty soon that person who's having a harder day is feeling better. Now, if, being in the presence of the people who are higher. Now, it's also possible that those other people can go down, like say it's a fear thing or a grief thing. It's really heavy and really intense. It's also possible that these people give their higher vibration to that person to elevate everyone. So it's kind of like an energy exchange. I look at it. And I love this idea because it reminds us that your presence makes a difference. You may not think your presence makes a difference, but your presence does make a difference in every situation. In the grocery store, gas stations, walking down the street, in your home, at work if you work, at school if you're in school, all of those things. If you go to a store, anywhere you are in the world, sitting home alone, Your presence makes a difference. Your energy, the way you are integrating and experiencing the world makes a difference. So ultimately, when we honor the fact that we are energy alchemists in training, and we really appreciate and acknowledge and honor the authority and the power and the sovereignty of our being, and that we have much more ability to bring goodness and lightness to the world than sometimes we give ourselves credit for. When we really, really ultimately appreciate that and become aligned in it, so that our mind, our heart, and our soul are all lined up. When we really get it, when it clicks in and there's that aha moment, just like that, our purpose begins to flow through us in this amazing way. And typically somebody will say, oh my gosh, now I know, I see, I know. There may not be words for it, but there's a deep knowingness. So ultimately, when we understand that this alignment, this sovereignty of who we are as a being helps us align to our purpose, to our function, to who we are, all of those things, that's what brings us joy. That's where the flow of life is, that beautiful ease and grace. And that doesn't mean that we don't have to have challenges, not at all. What it means is we have a better way to handle the challenges. So when we're aligned with our purpose and we're standing in our sovereign space, and we know that we are an energy alchemist, that we have the power and control and ability to uplift things and up-level things and allow our world to become more magnificent and beautiful simply by our presence. It's then, my friends, that the flow comes through us in ways that even we are surprised by, that feel amazing and wonderful, and everyone in our influence feels it and knows it. So I want to invite you to allow the alchemist in you to show up, to start transmuting those base experiences of doubt and fear and grief and worry into something more beautiful, like love or gratitude, kindness, connection. Because it's in that transmutation of that base energy into something more beautiful, like the phoenix coming out of the fire, like the lotus coming out of the muck. It's in those moments that our beneficial presence on planet Earth makes a bigger difference than you'll ever know. It radiates out everywhere. You will never know the beauty and the gift and the impact by your simple decision to up-level base emotion and base experience, heavy lead, into something beautiful like gold. So I invite you, give it a shot. Try it out. If you have any questions or you want to talk about it, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is in the show notes, because I am always here as an energy alchemist, as a catalyst to remind you of how beautiful and lovable and capable that you are, because your presence makes a difference. Until the next episode of Someone Gets Me, be well. Thank you for listening. I trust you gained some valuable inspiration and information. Please join me and other visionaries in the Someone Gets Me Facebook group. Or for more information on my services and additional episode's, visit someonegetsme.com. Again, thanks for listening.